Hey, besties. Welcome to the Lost and Found. What if I told you that your shame, your remorse, your guilt is actually an indication that you are healing? You are taking the steps towards your more aligned life, your higher timeline. All of that unease, all of those decisions that you made unconsciously. You're now feeling remorse. You're now feeling regret. You're now feeling shame. Congratulations. Congratulations, you're moving up. This is something that I learned recently, actually, because I used to live in fight or flight constantly. And I'm not saying that I'm exempt from this today. I still have many moments where I drop back into that state of fear. But I used to live a life pretty much 90% in the fight or flight, in that fear state. And I made a lot of decisions from this place, a lot of unconscious decisions. And then eventually I got to a place where I lived in extreme shame and remorse and agony even. It was pretty painful because all of the decisions I had made up until that point, I was now facing them and acknowledging, wow, I haven't been present with what I've been doing. I made all of those decisions. I created this reality, and I don't like what I see. When I was in the thick of that, when I was feeling or overcome by shame and guilt, I thought, it's never going to get better from this. What I now realize is that I was actually moving up, because I was moving from unconscious to conscious. And in becoming conscious, you become aware to all of the decisions that you made when you were unconscious. And a lot of those decisions, they're not pretty. They're pretty messy. They're pretty ugly. They're pretty disastrous. And there's a huge art to shame. Shame is something that a lot of us run away from, and that keeps us in this place of unconscious. But you have to feel it. And if you are feeling it, congratulations, you're moving up. You are acknowledging the decisions that you made, and you're saying, oh, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't like that, and I'm not going to do that anymore. And if you stay here, if you stay in the shame for just a moment, long enough to acknowledge, okay, these are the things that I've done in my past. Unconsciously, those are the decisions I made. I don't like them. I feel very shameful, very remorseful. I'm not going to continue doing that. If you sit in that and you get to the point where you're like, I'm not going to do that anymore, I'm going to take conscious decisions in my life, you then move up to control. There is this book by the author, I'm forgetting his name, Joe Dispenza. And he has this graph where it talks about the vibrations correlated with certain feelings. And when I saw this diagram, this graph, it all kind of clicked for me, because you have fear at the very bottom, fear and lust as like the lowest vibrations. And above that, you have shame and guilt. I was so surprised to see that, but it clicked. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of moving up. And that's not to say that you don't move into, you like move up these levels, and eventually you get to control, then you get to peace and joy and bliss and all of that. Those are at the top. Eventually you move up to those, and that does not mean that you will never drop back down into shame or fear or whatever it is. But you have to sit long enough in them to learn the lesson in order to move up to the next level. There are so many graphs like this where you can see kind of like moving up the levels of consciousness, levels of awakening, things like that. You will drop back into the lower levels of consciousness, the lower levels of emotions, the vibrations. But you will not be able to truly live in a state of control, in a state of peace, in a state of joy, bliss, unless you have fully felt through these lower vibrational emotions. Same goes with chakras. I'm bringing a lot of examples out, but the root chakra is the chakra of fear, of stability. Those are like the two opposites. If you do not master, if you do not heal, if you do not balance the root chakra, none of your other chakras will be balanced. You can have the most widely expanded crown chakra where you are getting all of these intuitive hits from the universe. You're very spiritually connected. None of that is going to be balanced. You're not going to be moving forward. You're not going to be able to actually live there unless you have a stable root chakra. Earth and spirit, extremely, extremely important. Earth, intellectual, just like the balance between them is so essential. And going back to the shame, if that's something that you're living in right now and you're trying to avoid it, I urge you to sit in it and feel gratitude in it. This is beautiful. Feel the shame, get comfortable with it. We are meant to make decisions and then change and then transform and then be born again, be new people. You're not a perfect human being, and that's okay. That should not keep you. That should not keep you from moving forward. To just live in this state of fear for the rest of your life, it's not making you any better. And to also, I'm saying, okay, yes, live in the shame, acknowledge the shame so that you can move forward. At the same time, don't stay here. Move on from the shame. Feel the shame, truly feel the shame, make changes, and then move on. Progress. Move into forgiveness. Move into control. You have control over your life. If you're happy, if you're sad, if the people around you like, if the environment you like or you don't like, whatever it is, every single thing in this world is a reflection back to you. So by just sitting in gloom all day long, you're not helping anybody. You're making things harder on yourself by just never wanting to move up. So that goes for shame, but that also goes for fear. Please, I urge you, move out of that. Take deep breaths. Allow yourself to come to terms with the fact that you don't love the person you've been. You want to make changes. Take the deep breaths and then move forward. Make the changes. Do you really want to be the same when you die as when you were born? And I mean consciously. Of course, we're always changing, we're evolving, whatever, but consciously. Going through really difficult moments where you're confronted with everything that you've done and there's like no moving forward, like that's a gift. That's a gift. Sit in it and then start taking conscious steps. That's what I had to do. I wanted to keep escaping, actually. I wanted to say, oh, this life that I've created out of fear is so misaligned from who I thought I was. I just want to start over. Because I thought, game over. Now I realize, game just beginning. Game just beginning. This is like the second level. The second level is, oh shit, the life that I've built for myself, I've been doing unconsciously and I don't fuck with it. Now I have to sit in that shame and that realization like, oh my God, she was so ignorant. And now I'm going to be this person who acts from a more stable and conscious place. And I forgive that old self. And I also acknowledge that I'm going to make decisions in my future that I'm not going to align with, that maybe come from that fear-based place, that fight or flight. And that is okay, that I can acknowledge and change again. I have been really mastering this in my day-to-day life. Like now, when I make a decision that I don't like, when I make a quote-unquote mistake, when I do something, I'm like, eek, I didn't like that. I am so quick to forgive myself and say, this is great because now I know what I'm not going to do in the future. I said something to somebody that I hadn't said before or that doesn't align with who I'm becoming. And I just so quickly grab that and say, oh, this is a good thing. This is a good thing that I did that because now I'm learning. I did that. I don't like how it feels. I feel my shame. I forgive myself. I don't do it again. You're going to keep making decisions in this life that don't completely align to you. You have to face them, though. You have to come to terms with the fact that you've been living a life that's unconscious. Slow down. That's another huge piece of advice. So many times we're just in this fight or flight place and grabbing things and putting them on our body and putting them in our lives and just like putting them in our bodies and in our minds. And we're like the creators of our reality. We are the creators of our reality. But since we're not consciously doing it a lot of the time, it's important to take a step back, take a few deep breaths and say, this is my doing. My life is my doing. Is there anything I can do to somewhat separate myself a little bit from being caught up in the mess and being that creator? Because no matter what, I am the creator. But either I'm conscious about it or I'm unconscious. So how can I take a step back and do maybe even just one little thing that aligns more with this state of control and eventually bliss, peace, joy? Maybe it's consciously making your bed. Maybe it's consciously lighting a candle. Maybe it's consciously eating a meal. Maybe 5 bites of a meal. Setting your phone down for just a moment and acknowledging, oh, life is not an emergency. I create this life. If I take a moment to acknowledge that I am the creator, and that if I move slowly and calmly through life, I can create a life that is more aligned to my dreams, to my hopes, than if I just scramble through life and run through it super, super quickly. Yeah, just take baby steps. Consciously make your bed today. Maybe read a page of a book. Maybe take one bite of your food consciously. How does this feel in my mouth? I'll leave it there. Shame is a beautiful art. Don't live there for too long, though. Use it and grow and change. Forgive yourself. And every now and then come back to your knowing that you are the creator of this reality. Because one day, I promise you, you're going to be trapped in a life that you built unconsciously. And maybe then you'll feel like it's too late. But it's never too late. In reality, it's never too late. Right now is the best moment to become conscious of that. But even if you come to terms with that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, whatever it is, it's okay. A lot of people, most of us, are living completely in unconscious mode. So, yeah, go easy on yourself. Forgive yourself. Okay. I love you guys. Have a beautiful rest of your day.